I was one of the 3 assigned to the task of monitoring the broadcasting stations and reporting to him what was being said. He used to tell us all the time that our job was to listen to what was being broadcast and write down everything we heard. He used to tell us not to say, this is important and that is not, because it was he who decided what was important and what was not.
It was in these years that AbdulAziz began to build up the formal administration of the kingdom, to create a machinery of government which would oversee the development of a modern state. He appointed his sons as viceroys. His eldest son, Prince Saud, became viceroy in the Najd. In the Hijaz, the viceroy was his second son, Faisal, who also administered foreign affairs for his father. And at the same time, the king overhauled the regulations and laws which dealt with finance, health, and the civil service. But always he kept Islam in the foreground of his plans.
فالملك عبدالعزيز متدين بطبيعته.
King AbdulAziz was a naturally pious man from his youth through middle age to the end of his life. This we know both from history and from the companions who knew him in his youth. We younger people realized this when we became close to him.
The kingdom was still largely undeveloped. It was a world where tradition ran very deep. Many people were suspicious of new things. Into this world, AbdulAziz was set to introduce the benefits of modern technology.
In the early days of King AbdulAziz's rule, he introduced new inventions. Many were rejected. Cars, for instance, were rejected and considered to be a cause of problems. The wireless, the radio, and other inventions. People rejected all those things without any justification.
Modern technology was on the march. It would transform Arabia in the future. But its impact on a traditional society was traumatic. AbdulAziz was keen to benefit from new inventions like the motor car.
I remember when the first car was brought to AbdulAziz. It came through Al Thumeri and stopped at Al Safat Gate. And they wondered and said, this must be magic and witchcraft. How can metal move? This sort of thing was incomprehensible to those people. And as AbdulAziz wanted to ride in it, they took hold of him and told him that it was magic and it might fly away while he was inside. They started shouting, "Don't get in! It might fly! This is magic!" But King AbdulAziz was insistent. He rode in the car. And when he returned safely, they were very happy to see him.
They started calling people non-Muslims without having the right to do so. They started to say things which were incorrect. They also started to send letters to each other saying that these things were actions to do with the devil. King AbdulAziz convinced them with the arguments of the ulama, the religious leaders, and declared that if they would not listen, he would stand against them.
In the 1930s, a serious economic crisis hit the kingdom. The worldwide slump of 1930 had seriously damaged the Hajj, numbers of pilgrims dropping by 2/3. In the eastern province, the invention of cultured pearls had devastated the pearling industry of the Gulf. Together, these disasters put heavy pressure on the people. There was a serious danger of insecurity. It was vital to increase the resources of the kingdom. And most important was water. Water had always been scarce in this harsh country. Water to drink, water for agriculture, water the foundation of settlement. As early as 1926, the king began to distribute kerosene water pumps to people in the kingdom.
So he made an order to supply 3 engines. On the 1st of Muharram, we travelled to Medina to receive them, together with the cars to carry them and the engineers who were supposed to assemble them. We installed them on 3 wells. So they pumped the water. We neither expected nor believed that it would ever be possible. Even the cleverest people could not imagine what had happened. Water pumps became a source of fascination. A poet of the time wrote, "A river flowed like tears from the eye of Al-Rafiya. The best of machines were established. Water spilled across the land."
AbdulAziz also developed more ambitious water projects. In the Hejaz, professional surveys helped discover rich resources of underground water. The king built the Aziziyeh system in Wadi Fatma with new wells, underground reservoirs and channels which brought fresh water to Jeddah and the pilgrims. This famous cistern in Al-Hajj was once brimful of water. Here, another ambitious irrigation scheme required a battery of pumps and 20 kilometers of water channels.
I remember one night we heard unusual noises, and about 3,000 people were there with lights. We asked what was going on. It was the opening of a canal from one area to another.
It fed a new research farm designed to modernize agriculture and train technicians.
When we reached Al-Hajj, they divided us into sections, some to study mechanics, others agriculture and geology. When we graduated, thanks to God, I worked in mechanics. At first, I used to plough using oxen and cows. It was very primitive when we first went there. Then, thanks to God, we got ploughing and seeding machines, tractors as well as harvesters. We had various vegetables, as well as several sorts of grain. Wide areas as far as you could see were used to grow grain, especially in Hafstugra. Things developed a lot during the days of King AbdulAziz.
Advisors convinced AbdulAziz that